Hello and welcome to State and Local Government. Again, my name is Jonathan Parker. I'll be your instructor for the next 16 weeks. This first lesson kind of incorporates the entirety of the course. It'll give you what to expect. It just touches lightly on everything, and we dig deeper into course material as the semester goes on. So I kind of take a very broad approach, and then we just narrow in on specific topics. And I've found that that's worked very well in the past. So let's get started. Here's my email, and I've said this in the syllabus video. Please make sure you spell my name correctly, because I've had people, again, John or Jonathon, all sorts of spellings of Jonathan that never get to me, and then I have very mad students who don't understand why I don't respond to emails that I never got in the first place. So just make sure you send your questions or comments to the correct email address. So one thing I need to explain to you right away, and I'll just touch on it because this is our next lesson on federalism. We operate under a federal system of government, meaning we have a national government in Washington, D.C., we have a state government here in Illinois, you have your city government in East Peoria, or wherever it is that you might live. You might have a county government, depending on how zealous your county officials are. That varies, from county to county. But they're all elected, as you see, by voters. Right? The voters send people to D.C., to Springfield, to East Peoria, City Hall, let's say, and the central government has certain powers that it can do. One power, Congress can declare war. All right. Regional government, states are responsible for. I've never perfected the art of writing with a pen on a slide. Just bear with me. States are responsible for elections. Your city might be responsible for trash day, deciding when it's going to collect trash. Now, I hope it's obvious that the federal, the state, and the city government are responsible for more than elections, war, and trash, but just in case, I will mention it. Now, when we dig a little deeper into federalism, we know that the central government has what are called enumerated powers, powers that are listed in the Constitution. If you open up a copy of the federal Constitution, the federal government really can't do that much. Now, the state government have reserved powers. They can do really what's not stated in the Constitution. So like establishing public schools, regulating intrastate commerce, things that are not explicitly listed as powers of the federal government in the United States Constitution. Local, that's a little bit of a different story, but we come to concurrent powers, which confuse a lot of people. Concurrent powers are things that both the federal government and the state government can do, like tax. That's a big one. So on a future homework assignment, I will ask you to list a delegated power. I will ask you to list a reserved power, and I will ask you to list a concurrent power. And if you write tax down for all three, you're only going to get 1 point. Taxing is a concurrent power. But enough about that. We just need to really know that there are 3 levels of government: central, state, local. maybe county, but 3 levels. You only need 2 to make federalism work, but in the United States it's 3, sometimes 4. So we come to the Illinois Constitution. So 1787, we're a relatively new country. The United States Constitution, they set up a federal system of government that gives some powers to the national government, other powers to the state and local governments. So the U.S. Constitution, they said that the states have to set up their own government and they have to write their own constitutions under the system of federalism. The federal constitution, meaning the U.S. Constitution, was supreme and is supreme. And the state constitutions are under that. The state constitutions, if you study state constitutions and federal constitution, the federal constitution, that you'll find that they're all very, very similar. States were required to have governments similar to the federal government. The people of the state were required to elect representatives. Illinois became a state in 1818. I would remember that date. It is not my habit to make you remember dates and I mean, it really, I don't think, serves much of a purpose, but there are certain dates. I'm not going to ask you, like, when, like January 1st, 1959, but you do need to know that Illinois became a state in 1818. That's going to be a question you see again and again in this class. Illinois became a state in 1818. That's all I'm going to ask you, not anything more than the year 1818. And we had to have our own constitution before we could become a state. Now we've had 4 constitutions. The current one was adopted and ratified in 1970. So the Constitution has a short preamble and 14 different articles. And this guy is Shadrach Bond, the first governor of our state from 1818 to 1822. So the U.S. Constitution does it a little differently than we do. In the U.S. Constitution, I mean, adds amendments at the end in a separate part of the Constitution. So it'll be like a cutoff, Amendment 1, Amendment 2, Amendment 3. So when we make changes, though, the amendments are made to the articles, the inside section. So we'll cross off little bits of it and just kind of write over it what the amendment is. We don't actually do that, but it's an easy way for you to understand how an amendment is made to the Constitution. We don't do it like the federal. We change it from within. So in 1673, Marquette and Joliet discover Illinois, and they claim it for France. The British win the Illinois Territory in the French and Indian War, and George Rogers Clark captures the territory for the colonists during the Revolutionary War. 1787, the Northwest Ordinance is passed, and the Illinois Territory is created. Now that's a step before you can have statehood. You have to be a territory, you have to meet certain population requirements, certain requirements of a government laid out by the federal government at the time. And on December 3rd, 1818, don't worry about December 3rd, just know 1818, Illinois becomes the 21st state of the Union. So we've had 3 capital cities, Kaskaskia, our first capital city, Vandalia, and then we moved to Springfield, which has remained our capital city. We've been governed by 4 different state constitutions, one in 1818, one in 1848, which made appointed positions, many of them anyway, elected. One in 1870 that would be in effect for 100 years, and one in 1970 which we're still living with. Now our preamble, it's much the same as the federal preamble. The preamble to the Illinois Constitution, it's an introductory paragraph which explains why it was written. The preamble is shown below. Some of the wording is similar to the preamble of the U.S. Constitution. We, the people of the state of Illinois, grateful to Almighty God for the civil, political, and religious liberty which He has permitted us to enjoy, and seeking His blessing upon our endeavors in order to provide for the health, safety, and welfare of the people, maintain a representative and orderly government, eliminate poverty and inequality, assure legal, social, and economic justice, provide opportunity for the fullest development of the individual, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, and secure the blessings of freedom and liberty to ourselves and our posterity, to ordain and establish this Constitution for the state of Illinois. And that is our preamble. Very lofty. A lot of things I don't know. Have we lived up to it? Have we not? That's going to be first discussion post. So I will copy and paste the preamble into a discussion board on Canvas, and this will be the question you have to answer. Have we lived up to the preamble? This is usually a very lively discussion when I do it in person. We will try it virtually and see what effect it has. But have we lived up to the preamble? I'll put the text of the preamble in a discussion post on Canvas. You'll respond to 2 classmates after you write your own post. And there you go. We're going to end part 1 of this video here, since I've given you an assignment.